સો ગુડ મોર્નિંગ ફ્રેન્ડ્સ. મારો અવાજ બરાબર સંભળાય છે?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So if we look at the syllabus, we have covered almost all the points of part B. If you have any doubts, please raise your doubts right now. કોઈને કંઈ પ્રોબ્લેમ છે પહેલા પાર્ટ બી સમજવામાં? કોઈ ટોપિક સ્પેશિયલી ન સમજાતો હોય? એનીવન? બે કન્ડિશન હોય, કાં તો બધાને બધું સમજાઈ ગયું હોય, કાં કાંઈ ન સમજાયું હોય, અને ઓપ્શન નંબર 3 કે ફોન ચાલુ રાખીને ક્રિકેટ રમતા હોય. કેટલા લોકો અત્યારે વેબએક્સ પર હાજર છે? રેઝ યોર હેન્ડ્સ. આજની અટેન્ડન્સ તો જ ગણાશે. અત્યારે કોણ હાજર છે? યુવરાજ સિંહ, તમને બધું સમજાઈ ગયું છે બેટા? કોઈ ડાઉટ્સ? Good. So I am happy to learn that at least 50% are physically and mentally present here. કોઈને કંઈ ક્વેશ્ચન્સ હોય તો કયો. અત્યાર સુધી આપણે જેટલું ભણ્યા એમાંથી ક્યાંય ડાઉટ્સ હોય તો યુ કેન આસ્ક મી. જો બધાને બધું સમજાઈ ગયું હોય, then we will move to next topic. You can always send me SMS or you can send me your doubts or queries by WhatsApp as well. I will try to solve it as soon as possible. But to the best of my understanding, in the given stipulated time and framework, I have tried honestly to cover all the topics of part B. એક ટોપિક બાકી છે પ્રકીર્ણ દ્રવ્યો, which is very less important, so that we will discuss it later on. Let's focus on the most important topics first. Is it okay with you guys? તો પછી આપણે આજનું જે one of the very important, somewhat boring but very important topic we will start. સ્ક્રીનમાં હવે દેખાશે બેટા? હવે દેખાય છે? આઈ હોપ હવે દેખાતું હશે. Okay, so we'll start today's class, which is point number 10 from part A. હવે દેખાય છે બેટા? So I am guessing હવે દેખાય પણ છે, and now you can listen me as well. So I will proceed for the class. Okay, so the topic is brief introduction of quality control, standardization and GMP of Rasaushadhis. You may have heard some of the words recently. GMP, that is Good Manufacturing Process. What is GMP? What is quality control? What is standardization? You are observing all this in your day to day life, but you might have not noticed it yet. You might have not noticed properly, I would say. તમે લોકોને બધાને આ શબ્દોની ખબર છે. ક્વોલિટી કંટ્રોલ કેને કહેવાય, સ્ટેન્ડર્ડાઇઝેશન કોને કહેવાય, ગુડ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ પ્રેક્ટિસીસ કોને કહેવાય. You know all this. Let me simplify it. Let's take example of Cafe Coffee Day, CCD. There are more than 1500 outlets across the country, and average they sell around 400 to 800 glass of coffees every single day. But if you go to randomly any of the CCD in any part of the country and you order cafe latte, for example, you will get same taste, same flavor, everything similar. So it is a kind of duplication of their own recipe, which is almost equal. Anywhere એટલે 1500 સ્ટોર્સમાં તમે ક્યાંય પણ જાઓ and you get the same amount, same quality, same taste, same appearance, everything. If you have observed, even their interior decoration, interior designing is same. One more example, Honestly Pav Bhaji. I'm sure you guys have seen this logo somewhere, at least on the highways. તમે અહીંથી અમદાવાદ જાઓ એટલે રસ્તામાં બસ ઊભી રહે, મોસ્ટલી એવી જગ્યાએ ઊભી રહે કે જ્યાં આગળ ઓનેસ્ટલી પાવભાજી મળતી હોય. અથવા તો તમે અમદાવાદ જાઓ અને ત્યાં ઉતરો તો તરત જ સામે એક ઓનેસ્ટલી રેસ્ટોરન્ટ દેખાય. So this પાવભાજી of Honest, you go anywhere all across Gujarat, they have same taste, they present almost similar way, no matter it is Ahmedabad, it is Jamnagar, or it is a highway restaurant. One more example, this is very common. This is Starbucks. It is not so common in our area, but if you go to Delhi airport or Mumbai airport, they have Starbucks outlet there. Or else if you go to Dubai or Washington or Newark airport, you will find such outlets. So this Starbucks is a chain of restaurants, and Starbucks offer very delicious coffee and some other food beverages. So no matter you are in which part of the world, you will find same glass, same taste, same aroma of their coffee. One more example. This is very simple. Balaji wafers. They have varieties of wafers nowadays, different taste and different flavors. But you buy it from an outlet just outside our campus, or you get it on highway, you will find the similar taste. One more simple example. Jamnagarni potani kachori. So this kachori, you get it online, you can order it online, or you can get it from a nearby store. The taste will be almost similar. Have you ever think how this happens? અલગ અલગ ખૂણે જાઓ દુનિયાના તો પણ તમને એનો એ ટેસ્ટ મળે, એની એ સુગંધ મળે. How it is possible? It is a practice of years. It is practice of 1000 or 10,000 times practice of different recipes. It is because of quality control. It is because of standardization of their product. And it is because of GMP, that is good manufacturing processes. Let me simplify it. Quality control. quality of their product, whether it may be a wafer or a coffee or a pav bhaji. પણ એ દરેકનો ટેસ્ટ, દરેકની સુગંધ, everything remains the same, just because they are following the best of the parameters for quality control. They have standardized their recipe. They have standardized their procurement. Do you know there are some interesting videos on almost all of these products? For example, Balaji wafer. Balaji wafer, the quality control or standardization of product starts right from the farms. They have similar kind of seeds or similar kind of cropping method material for potatoes. બટેટાની જ્યાં ખેતી થાય છે ને મહેસાણા સાઈડ, ડીસા સાઈડ, તો they have similar quality of potatoes as well. એવા જ બટેટા વાવવામાં આવે, એવા જ બટેટા ખરીદવામાં આવે જેની એક સરખી ક્વોલિટી હોય. The quality control starts from the procuring raw material. Then comes the process part. They process it similar way. આખા વર્ષમાં તમે ગમે ત્યારે બાલાજીની ફેક્ટરીમાં જાઓ, the process of procuring raw material, process of preparing wafer, process of packing the material will be exactly same. It will be almost duplicated like Xerox machine. And for all this, what they follow is good manufacturing processes, GMP. And that's how they can attain the best of output. That's how the taste of their product remains the same. So these three topics are very much important as far as the production of any food material or any medicine is concerned. In ancient time, if you open the original book of Ratna Samucchay, you will find this reference in chapter number 6. That is concept of Rasashala. You might have seen the model of Rasashala in our department. The concept of Rasashala, I hope I am audible. Concept of Rasashala versus or vis-a-vis GMP, that is good manufacturing practices. So if you go through the concept of Rasashala, it is almost similar to the GMP rules and regulation. We will learn about Rasashala separately. What was our history? In ancient time, mostly all the Vedyas used to prepare their medicine by their own self. There were no Himalaya Drug Company, there was no Dabur, there was no Baidyanath, no Dhutpapeshwar. All the Vedyas used to prepare their medicine by themselves. But since last 75 years or so, there are so many pharma companies in the market. So slowly, Vedyas stopped producing medicine. Instead, they invested their time into checking the patients. In ancient time, as you can see in the picture, normally the production was only in grams or only in kilograms. But if you can see the slides, nowadays the production is in tons, in thousands of kilos. In ancient time, Vaidya had one small kharal, and that kharal was used for various procedures. Nowadays, if you see big pharma companies, at a time there are more than 1,000 kharals are running. You might have seen in our pharmacy as well that now we have bigger end runner and edge runners, where we can produce 50 kilo of basma at a time. In ancient time, we used to prepare, Vaidyas used to prepare only few kilos of quath. Whereas these days, our own pharmacy of our university produces around 1 ton of powder every single day. In ancient time, we used to prepare tel or sneh kalpana with traditional method where the output was around 10 to 25 liters of oil. Whereas now, if you can see the photograph on the right side, we have boilers and we have tanks. We have big size average. One tank has 1000-liter capacity. So we can produce even 10 tons of hair oil every single day. In ancient time, we used to prepare our bhasmas with traditional method of Putpak method, where we used to use traditional Putpak method. Nowadays, it is converted to muffle furnace. In ancient time, we used to cut the roots or the panchang with a small cutter, and that was done manually. Whereas now we have micro pulverizers where we can get even 10 tons of any herbal material every single day. Anciently, we used to prepare and fill the bottles manually. Nowadays, we have automatic machines. So, all this slowly has converted from individual manufacturing to a large scale production. And that's why this term good manufacturing practice has come in evolution. That's why we guys need to understand the concept of good manufacturing practices. Standard standard means a level of quality or attainment. Standard, however, is a numerical value which quantifies the parameter and thus denotes the purity of the material. Standardization of Ayurvedic drug is a need of the hour because the changing global scenario. एकदम सिंपल एग्जांपल તમને આપું. We used to get guduchi churna or raw material of guduchi just before 6 months at around 20 rupees kilo. But after this pandemic of COVID-19, ગુડુચી બહુ થઈ ગયું આખી દુનિયામાં. સમશમની વટી બહુ પોપ્યુલર થઈ ગઈ. તો સમશમની વટી આખી દુનિયા બનાવવા માંડી અને સમશમની વટી માટે જરૂરી ગુડુચી, the roots of guduchi are nowadays sold at 300 rupees kilo, almost 15 times more. The rates are so much high, but you are not sure whether we are getting the same quality of guduchi. For this reason, some objective parameters should be established. Initially, for example, if you remember our journal, દરેક રસ ઔષધિ or દરેક every single material is to be identified or standardized with ras gandha, etc. Ayurvedic text says all the parameters are given in subjective. मतलब કે એની સુગંધ કેવી છે, એનો સ્વાદ કેવો છે. In ancient time, Vedyas used to judge the finished product by pancha indriya pariksha with appearance, look, smell, etc. But nowadays, when we go for large scale production, we need some objective parameters and we need to establish through exhaustive pharmaceutical study and analytical study because we are going for large scale production. And as I mentioned earlier, this standardization, the process of standardization starts right from the proper identification and authentication of raw material. Once we have identified કે આને ગુડુચી કહેવાય, this is the best quality ગુડુચી, then it goes for procurement. The procure aids to procure genuine and quality drugs. પછી, for example, ગુડુચી ચૂર્ણ is prepared every single day in a pharmaceutical company. That is known as batch to batch uniformity. તમારા મમ્મી ઘરે રોટલી બનાવે, સવારે પણ બનાવે, સાંજે પણ બનાવે. Every single day she prepares roti for you. that is batch to batch, પણ મમ્મીની રોટલીનો સ્વાદ સેમ રહે, that is known as batch to batch uniformity. મમ્મીએ તમને 1 મહિના પહેલા જે રોટલી બનાવી હતી એ પણ એવી હશે, આજે બનાવી એ પણ એવી હશે. So this is very important. Batch to batch uniformity is very much important and essential to meet the demands of ever increasing urbanization. Because હવે આપણે urbanization તરફ દોડીએ છીએ. People are slowly moving from the villages to metro cities. You just think of a metro city. For example, if you are living in Prahlad Nagar, you don't have time. You don't have enough of space to prepare your medicines. And that's why we need standard medicine ready-made available. And that's why we need standard medicine. And that's why standardization is very much essential part of the pharma company. So for attaining standard products, we need good practice. That is known as good manufacturing practice. Good manufacturing practice is shortly known as GMP. GMP, good manufacturing practice, is a production and testing practice that helps to ensure a quality product. આ બધાએ મગઅપ કરી લેવાનું છે, બધાને આવડવું જ જોશે. This is compulsory. Good manufacturing practice is a production and testing practice that helps to ensure a quality product. GMP guidelines are not prescriptive instruction on how to manufacture products, but there are a series of general principles that must be observed during the entire manufacturing process, right from procuring of raw material to the packing of finished product. Entire series. When a company is setting up its quality program and manufacturing process, there may be many ways it can fulfill GMP requirements. It is the company's responsibility to determine the most effective and efficient quality process. What I mean is, દરેક કંપની, દરેકની મમ્મી, અત્યારે આપણે સપોઝ we are 60, around 60 in a group. સો દરેકની મમ્મી રોટલી બનાવતી હશે, તો દરેકની મમ્મીને એક જ સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ પેરામીટર ન હોય કે મમ્મી તમે આટલો લોટ, કારણ કે દરેક મમ્મીનો પોતાનો એક અલગ સ્વભાવ છે, પોતાની એક અલગ આદત છે. બટ ધી એન્ડ પ્રોડક્ટ શુડ બી અપ ટુ ધ માર્ક. મમ્મીની રોટલી ક્યારેય બળેલી ન હોય, મમ્મીની રોટલી ક્યારેય કાચી ન હોય. It will be always tasty. This is very simple example. So likewise, we cannot order, or government cannot order how to manufacture, but whatever a company is going to produce should be up to a standard. So these days we have one more term that is known as CGMP. C, that is current. Current emphasize that expectations are dynamic. So the need of GMP is, sometimes they ask importance of GMP or need of GMP for a short note. So the need of GMP is to ensure raw materials used in the manufacture of drugs are authentic, of prescribed quality, and free from any type of contamination. Why contamination is important? Mostly we deal with biological products. Most of the products are herbal origin. So there are chances that they will get contaminated. Fungus lagi jai ema. So we need proper, free of contamination raw material. The manufacturing process is as has been prescribed to maintain the standards, and adequate quality control measures are adopted. The manufactured drug which is released for sale is acceptable quality. So need of GMP is right from the procuring raw material to the drug which is released for the sale. આખી process જે છે, it is covered under GMP. Now this is very important for a Vaidya to understand. Need of GMP is there, but under IMCC Act 1970, registered Vaidyas, Siddhas and Hakims who prepare medicine on their own. જે વૈદ્યો પોતાની દવા જાતે બનાવે છે to dispense to their patients, ખાલી એના પોતાના પેશન્ટ માટે, and are not selling such drugs in the market. વૈદ્યો જે પોતે પોતાની દવા જાતે બનાવે છે ખાલી પોતાના પેશન્ટ્સ માટે અને મેડિકલ સ્ટોરમાં વેચવા માટે. Any doubts? All well? Okay, so under this IMCC Act 1970, Vaidyas can prepare their medicine for the use of own patients and not for selling in the market. We are exempted. Normally, if you remember your pharmacy visit, there are specific sections in a pharmacy. First is raw drug store. If you remember, we have different raw material store departments where we have procured and we have stored our raw material in different parts. Then comes manufacturing area. Manufacturing area for different products. Manufacturing area for syrup, for tablet, for asawale, for snake kalpanas, likewise. Then comes finished good stores. Finished goods store, જ્યાં આગળ બનેલી તૈયાર દવાઓ રાખવામાં આવે, where we store the finished products properly. And then there should be one herbal garden, at least for preparing different bhasmas and rasaushadis. Ideally we should have enough of aloe vera. Kumari is a very commonly used material in Rasashastra. Likewise, Limbuswaras, Jambiri Nimbuswaras. So, we should have a herbal garden in the pharma company itself. And then there comes a quality control section. Quality control section where we can analyze the product for different quality parameters like friability, the water solubility, alcohol solubility, pH, specific gravity. So to get the best of understanding of all the products, we should have quality control section. Then we should have chemistry section in or chemistry department in the quality control section itself. Then comes pharmacognostical section. Because mostly we deal with herbal products, if we can identify the raw material under the microscope, then we do not need to go for any expensive physical or chemical test, and we can judge the quality of product. So the definition of quality control according to WHO is quality control is the part of GMP concerned with sampling, specification and testing, and with the organization, documentation and release procedures which ensure that the necessary and relevant tests are actually carried out and the materials are neither released for use nor products are used for sale and supply until their quality has been satisfactory. Let me simplify this definition. Quality control laboratory નો શું રોલ છે? Quality control lab will ensure the quality of every single step, right from procuring raw material, in process product and finished product. ક્વોલિટી કંટ્રોલ લેબમાં 3 વખત એનાલિસિસ થાય. Quality control lab will analyze raw material, in process product and finished product. So single product will be tested 3 times. Every single step, simply તમે એક એક્ઝામ આપતા હો તો તમે બોલપેનનું ઢાંકણું ખોલો, પછી બોલપેનથી લખવાનું શરૂ કરો. તમારું આન્સર શીટ જે હોય એમાં તમે બ્લુ પેનથી જ લખો, રેડ પેનથી ન લખો, ક્યાંય ઓમ નહીં લખવાનું. These are some of the rules. Likewise, every single product has a specific steps. મમ્મી ચા બનાવે તો પહેલા પાણી ગરમ કરવાનું, પછી એમાં ચાની પત્તી નાખવાની, પછી એમાં ખાંડ નાખવાની, થોડી ચા ઉકળી જાય પછી એમાં દૂધ નાખવાનું, બરાબર એના સુગંધને ટેસ્ટ આવે પછી એને ગાળી લેવાની. So these are some of the steps. Likewise, every single product has some steps. So quality control laboratory is there to confirm the entire process. I am repeating this definition because it is very important. Quality control is a part of GMP concerned with sampling, specification and testing, and with the organization, documentation and release product procedures which ensure that the necessary and relevant tests are actually carried out. Actually carried out means we should produce documents. Actually carried out test ની દરેકની નોટિંગ થાય, અને દરેકના નોટિંગ પછી we should have enough of data, written data, and the material are neither released for use nor products or used for sale. So right from procuring raw material, in process and finished product, all these 3 should be properly documented. એના અલગ અલગ એનાલિટિકલ પેરામીટર્સ પણ નોટ કરવાના હોય. So the components of QC. What is a quality control means? Quality control starts right from QC lab. Quality control lab. It is started with sampling. Sampling thi sharu thai. If samples, raw material samples are proper, then it is validated and recorded in different steps. Then comes batch inspection and sampling. Every single batch should be inspected and randomly એમાંથી samples લેવામાં આવે. Then they go for QC labs. They retain the samples, they analyze the samples at every single step, and at the end the analysis of finished product is also done. So these are some of the components of quality control. So the QC labs must have these 8 different components. Like it should have one chemical lab, it should have instrumental analysis laboratory, it should have microbiology and toxicological laboratory. There should be provision for retained samples and stability samples. Then there should be a documentation room, documentation of all the batch what we have manufactured, relative reference books. Then comes SOPs, standard operative procedures, and the most important is trained personnel. તમને બધાને અત્યાર સુધી એવું થતું હશે કે સર આ બધું શું અમને ભણાવે, અમારે શું જરૂર છે? Why we should learn all this? Because according to Drug and Cosmetic Act, you are entitled to be the head of the QC lab. એક BAMS QC lab ને head કરી શકે. You can get job in any pharma company. That's why you are supposed to learn all these steps. Quality control. Independence of quality control from production is considered fundamental. Quality control head should have appropriate qualification and experience, which has control over one and several labs. Adequate resources must be available to ensure quality control arrangements are effectively and reliably carried out. So this QC head should have appropriate qualification that makes a BAMS a BAMS is qualified. જો તમને 5 વર્ષનો એક્સપિરિયન્સ આ ફિલ્ડમાં હોય then you have a very good career in this branch as well. For that you need to understand what is quality control of Ayurvedic medicines. So this sentence, Hitesh bol beta. Any confusion? Hitesh, you had raised your hand. Okay, probably કદાચ ભૂલથી થઈ ગયું હશે. Most important line in quality control lab is if not recorded means it is not done. આ એક તકિયા કલામ છે which is very commonly used in any quality control lab. If it is not recorded, it is not done. There are different good practices. You should understand these terms. GMP is good manufacturing practice. GLP, that is good laboratory practice. Good distribution practice, that is GDP. Then comes GCP, that is good clinical practice. Next is good regulatory practice, GRP. આપણે જે અત્યારે ભણીએ છીએ it comes under GRP and GMP, good regulatory practice and GMP. That's why we need to learn this in detail. GMP helps. What are the benefits of GMP? GMP નું તમને શું એમ થાય કે શું કામ સર GMP શું કામ લેવું જોઈએ? So for example, if you are a manufacturer and want to sell your products outside India, this is the first step. First question any importer will ask you is તમારી કંપની GMP standard ની છે કે નહીં? If you are GMP standard, then only they will encourage your products to be exported. So GMP helps to boost pharmaceutical export opportunities. Most of the countries will only accept import and sale of medicines that have been manufactured to internationally recognized GMP. Governments seeking to promote their country's export of pharmaceutical can do so by making GMP compulsory or mandatory for all pharmaceutical production and by training their inspector in GMP requirement. So nowadays, all the pharmaceutical companies which are in market, they are compulsorily having GMP. It is very simple that if a quality medicine may contain toxic substance which are not intentional, they are unintentionally added, or sometimes the product are not up to the mark, medicine that contains a little or none of claimed ingredient will not have the intended therapeutic effect. For example, you have prepared Chyawanprash, but Chyawanprash does not have enough of Amlaki pulp, then it is of no use. ઘણા લોકો એવું કરે, જો GMP કંપની નહીં હોય, જેની પાસે પ્રોપર બેચ રેકોર્ડ નહીં હોય, તો એ ઘણી વખત એવી ચીટિંગ કરે, આમળાના પલ્પની જગ્યાએ બીજું કંઈ પણ મિક્સ કરી દે, કદ્દુનો પલ્પ મિક્સ કરી દે. Sometimes they do not have quality elchi powder. I will give you simple example of Praval Pisti. I know a pharma company, એ લોકોને પ્રવાલ પિસ્ટીમાં આપણે ગુલાબજળની જે ભાવના આપીએ ને એને બદલે ખાલી પ્રવાલનો પાવડર કરી ને એમાં પ્રવાલની સુગંધ એડ કરી દે. So that will not have proper therapeutic effect, and that's why GMP is very important. GMP covers all the aspect of production, right from starting the raw material, premises and equipment to the training and personal hygiene of a staff. We will continue right from this slide from tomorrow, from next class. That is quality assurance, GMP and QC. I hope you have understand today's slides properly. If you have any doubts till now what we have learned, please raise your hand and ask me your questions. કોઈને કંઈ doubts છે? If not, then I am stopping today's class.